So today's notes are going to be about point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you use this when you have a point and the slope has been found. So either the slope will be given to you or you have to find the slope. But if you have a point and slope, this is what we're going to use. So to write an equation in point slope form, given slope and a point. So when the slope is given to you, you're going to plug in slope for m, and then you're also going to plug in the point. So the x and the y. And your point, when it's plugged in, will look kind of opposite, and we'll see what that means in a second. Okay, so I'm going to start with that formula there above, and I'm going to do y minus. Now my y1 is right here. It's negative 2. So I'm going to have y minus negative 2 equals, now my m, which is given to me, is 2. So equals 2. And then x minus 3. And my 3 is my x that I just plugged in. Okay, so you see we just plugged in our points and then our slope. And now you just have to solve it. So when you have minus a negative, it becomes a plus. This is going to become y plus 2 equals 2 times x minus 3. Now here is where I want you to notice that our points are kind of opposite. So if you see here, this is a plus 2, when in our original one we had a minus 2. And then this right here is a minus 3, when in our original one we had a positive 3. So that's what I mean by the points should look kind of opposite. Okay, so to solve this, I'm going to have to distribute first. So I'll have y plus 2 equals 2x minus 6. Subtract 2 from both sides, so y equals 2x minus 8. And that is my answer. Okay, so this next one I'm going to work through a little bit faster. So I'm going to have y minus, and then my y1, so negative 1, equals my m is negative 4/5, and then times x minus my x1, so x minus 6. This becomes y plus 1 equals negative 4/5 x. And then when you multiply these here, you would get 24/5, a positive. Then I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Then I get y equals negative 4/5 x minus 19/5. And that is my answer for that one. Okay, now we're going to go over what to do if you're just given 2 points, so the slope isn't given to you. So like we did in our other notes, when you're given 2 points, you have to find the slope. So we're going to first find m. Okay, so I'm going to have to use that formula. If you don't remember it, it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to have 3 minus 1 over 2 minus negative 4. Now 3 minus 1 is 2. Remember, this really becomes like 2 plus 4. So it's going to be 2 over 6, which is 1/3. So that's my m. Now I'm going to choose a point to plug in. So plug in either point. So for this example, I'm going to pick the negative 4, 1 to plug in. So I'm going to plug this one in, but you could also plug in 2, 3, and you're going to get the same answer. So I'm going to have y minus 1 equals 1/3 times x minus negative 4. So y minus 1 equals, I'm going to go ahead and simplify this down first, 1/3 times x plus 4. And then y minus 1 equals 1/3 x plus 4/3. Add 1 to both sides. Oh, I put 43. And my answer would be y equals 1/3 x plus 7/3. Now, if I chose to plug in the other number, 2/3 or 2,3, I would get the same answer. So you can plug in either point. Okay. So next, we are graphing from point slope. So remember, kind of how when we plugged in the points, they were opposite. Now, the points that we're going to be plotting are going to be opposite. So if you look over here, we are given a -3 and a -5. So this means that my y is going to be +3 and my x is going to be +5. It's opposite. So my point is 5, 3. So that's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to go over 5, up 3. And that's my point to start with. And then my slope is right here. It's given to me. It's 2. So instead, I'm going to start at 5, 3, and then I'll do my slope of 2 over 1. So that's going to be up 2 and then right 1. So I'll go up 2 to the right 1, up 2 to the right 1. And you can do as many dots as you need to, but at least have 3. And you can also solve to check your answer. So if I were to take that and solve it, y minus 3 equals, that would be 2x minus 10. And if I add 3 to both sides, y equals 2x minus 7. So if I look right here, and if I were to continue this graph, and I would go and continue and do down 2 over 1, my graph got a little bit off there. Oops. Whoa. Got a little off there. Second. Okay, so over 2, 2 over 1, 2 over 1. There we go. So if I were to continue my graph like that, I would see that it does indeed cross at -7. So I did graph it correctly. Let me just fix this. Okay, now we have a real-world application problem. So on this one, an event facility has a banquet hall and it can hold 250 people. And that price includes the cost of the room, rental, and then a meal for each guest. Piper is planning an event for 75 people and she has budgeted 1,200. So will it be enough? So this graph is more of like a picture graph than just like points. But these things on our graph here are our points. So like this right here is the point 50, 725. This right here would be the point 100, 1,325, and so on. Each of those are our points. So to be able to know if we have enough, we're going to have to create a line. And y equals mx plus b form. So the first thing I want to do is find my slope. So my m is, and I'm going to use those 2 points that I just wrote down there. So 1,325 minus 725 all over 100 minus 50, which gives me 600 over 50. And when you divide that, you're going to get 12. So 12 is my slope. Now, I don't see a clear intercept here, and I can't assume that it's starting at 0 because I don't know if there's like a base price or something that you have to pay. So I'm going to pick a point to plug in. So I'm going to use the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 to figure it out. And I'm going to use this point right here to plug in for my x and my y. So that would give me y minus 725 equals 12 times x minus 50. Remember that 12 came from right here where we just solved. So then I get y minus 725 equals 12x minus 600 plus the 725, and I get y equals 12x plus 125. So as we can see, it's not just $0. There is a $125 minimum payment there that you have to pay. So let's first answer our question over here. So if she budgeted $1,200 for 75 people, would that be enough? So what we're going to do is plug in 75 for x. So y equals 12 times 75 plus 125. So all I did here was take this and put it right here. Okay, so this would be 900 plus 125, which is 1,025. So she did budget enough. The last question is what the slope and y-intercept mean in the situation. So that 12 is going to be the cost per guest. And then the y-intercept, that 125, is going to be like the minimum payment or something. I don't know, you don't know exactly because it doesn't tell you on the problem, but it's some kind of down payment, minimum cost, the cost of the room. So I'm going to put a minimum amount. So you have to at least pay 125 to be able to even rent the room. And that is all for those notes.